أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah for arriving early. And now I welcome all of you to the 35th class of G3 Hifz-ul-Qur'an course. Before we start, I would like to do an announcement which is regarding the Hifz of surahs, that in our class, we will only be listening the Hifz of first 17 verses of Suratul Baqarah, Suratul Fil, Suratul Quraysh, Suratul Maun, Suratul Kausar, and Suratul Kafirun. And if you want to recite Ayatul Kursi or a portion of first part of Ayatul Kursi, you are more than welcome. But there's another opportunity for you, that you can send the recording of those surahs which you haven't recited in the class to our email address, which you can see on your screens. And the email address is it is g3hifz@gmail.com. Okay, and I want to add one more thing, that if you have recited any surah in class already, and now you think that you can recite it better than before, or you want to improve your Hifz record, you can go for those surahs as well. You can send it this recording of those surahs as well, but your preference should be the surahs that you haven't recited in the class. Okay, and while doing the sending us the email, the subject should be Hifz recording, and your student ID should be clearly mentioned in the email. So, Jazakumullah. Now we will start our class with the opening prayer, and I would request our ST to kindly unmute an ID for it. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I'm going to invite NG3018.
NG3018. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Jazakallah for asking. Okay, could you please start reciting the Quranic prayer with ta'awuz and tasmiyah?
Which one?
Can you see the Quranic prayer on your screen?
Yes.
Yes, this one, the starting prayer.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب زدني علما.
Okay, Jazakallah. Mashallah, you were reciting very well, but just a few things I want to point out, because you are the very first student of today's class. Do you know the difference between alif and ain?
Alif's not a thick letter.
Ain is also not a thick letter. It is a letter of throat. Both of these are letter of throat, but alif is articulated a bit softly, and ain is articulated from the middle of the throat. So there is difference between their sounds. Alif is recited softly. A'udhu. Okay.
A'udhu.
Mashallah. Now you distinguish between the sounds of alif and ain. And let's go back to the prayer here. Okay. Dal is, do you know in which category does dal falls?
No.
Okay, it is dal sakin. So it is one of the kalkala letters. Okay, and you need to recite it with a jerk. So zidni.
Zidni.
And once again, the letter of throat is here. Ain. Ilma.
Ilma.
Okay, I would request you to recite this prayer again with translation.
Rabbi zidni ilma.
Rabbi zidni ilma.
Rabbi zidni. Rabbi zidni ilma.
That's better. And translation, please.
Oh my Lord, increase my knowledge.
Increase me in knowledge. Jazakillah. Okay, let's have a look at the class etiquettes. The very first thing is that you should before joining the class, you should perform ablution, or you should do your wuzu with clean clothes. You should be wearing clean clothes, and you should have some head covering. Boys should be covering their head with caps, and girls should have a scarf on their heads. And you should choose a quiet place. You should be sitting in a quiet place with your parents, so that you can pay attention, and parents can also supervise and monitor your Hifz performance. Okay, and last but not the least is your correct ID. Everyone, you should have a look at your ID, whether it is incorrect or not. If it isn't correct, it isn't the ID which we have assigned you via email, you can rename yourself, and you can type in the correct ID. Otherwise, we can't give you a turn to recite your surahs, the Hifz portions. Okay. So, and today is the day of Friday. So all of you know that on Friday, we divide our class in small groups, and we send different groups of students to the breakout rooms, so that everyone can get his or her turn. Everyone could be listened today. And if we will have still some spare time, we can give you another turn for another surah. Okay, so don't worry, everyone will get his or her turn today. And our breakout room coordinator is assigning students with some invitations to the breakout rooms. So if you see any invitation from the coordinator to join breakout rooms, please accept it, and make sure that you are not leaving your assigned breakout room without the permission of your breakout room teacher. Okay, otherwise he won't be admitted you again to that respective breakout room. Okay, so I think
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I'm going to open the breakout rooms now. So if I can request everyone to click on join. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. So now you can see your assigned breakout rooms. Please accept the notification and join your respective breakout rooms. And for that, make sure your IDs are correct. Okay, I think we should start listening hifz from the students which are in our group or in the main session. So I request students to start their hifz surahs with the tabuz and tasmiyah. Don't forget tabuz and tasmiyah. And can I request ST to unmute an ID for the recitation of hifz?
Yes, I'm going to invite AG3116.
AG3116. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Can you try to unmute, please?
Okay, let me check his ID.
There
It
are
is
two siblings who never, I think.
AG115.
15 and 6.
Okay. Now their mic is unmuted. I think they are not ready to recite. That's fine. Okay. Can you choose another ID, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
So they are here. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you, AG3116?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Are you ready to recite some surah in the class?
A day.
Which one? Okay, let me show you your syllabus. You can recite the first verses, for a few verses of Surah Al-Baqarah or Surah Al-Fil. Have you recited Surah Al-Baqarah in your class?
No, but I haven't memorized much of it yet.
Okay. What about Surah Al-Fil?
I've memorized that.
And have you recited it in the class before?
No.
No. Okay. Are you reciting Surah Al-Fil today for us or not?
Yeah.
Okay. You can see it on the screen. Now I will change the screen for you. And now you can start with Tabuz and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول.
Jazakallah. AG3116. Let me resume the shared screen. Okay, can you see Surah Al-Fil on your screen now?
Yes.
Okay, I pointed out just a few mistakes. Can you tell me which stroke is carried by Fa, Ain and Lam?
Fatha.
Yes, all of these strokes are Fatha. And how much time should we give to these strokes, these short strokes?
1 second.
Okay, but I noticed that you prolonged Ain, while we should give equal short time to all of these letters, like Fa'ala,
Fa'ala.
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 And then how will we read this Ra carrying a Fatha?
Ra.
Yes, thick sound, okay? Ra. It is a conditionally thick letter. Whenever it carries Fatha or Dhamma, we read it in thick sound. And what about this Ya? In which category does it fall?
Haruf-i-mad.
Excellent. And how much time should we give to this Ya?
2 seconds.
Yes. And how will we read this word now? Following the rule?
Tarmihim.
Good, inshallah. And what about this Noon Sakin? should we manifest it, or we should hide its sound or conceal its sound?
Manifest it.
How can you say this? Can you see the following letter? It is not one of the letter of izhar, okay? Letter of manifestation. It is letter of ikhfa, okay? Concealing letter. So we will conceal the sound of noon, and we will read it like this. Min sijil. So we did ikhfa of noon, okay? Otherwise, your mashallah memorization, your hifz is very good, and I hope you will come up with a new surah in next class, inshallah. Jazakallah, AG3 116.
Jazakallah. Miss, can my brother have a turn?
ST, what do you say?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, let me note his
The AG3 115.
AG3 115. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, Alhamdulillah, I'm fine.
I
Jazakallah
think,
for asking.
sorry to disturb. I think he has done the Surah Fil before. So
AG3 116.
no, 115.
Okay, the student who is on the mic now. Okay,
Yes.
you have done Suratul Fil, and which is the new surah which you haven't recited earlier in the class? And you have memorized that as well?
Surah Kafirun.
Okay, and you haven't recited it earlier?
Let's see.
Okay.
Don't play.
Please start Suratul Kafirun with Tabuz and Tasmiyah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين.
Let me resume.
He has done Surah Al-Kafirun before as well. Sorry.
Okay, you had done it already?
Can't remember.
Okay, you should make a record of your memorized surahs, okay, which you have recited in the class. But no worries. As you have recited it in class again, I want to point out a few things in front of you, okay? Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Suratul Kafirun is here, and do you know which kind of mad is it on the top of ya?
Sagir mad.
Madde Sagir. And is it Madde Sagir or Kabir?
Mad Sagir.
Yes, we have many examples of Madde Sagir in this surah, almost in every verse. But you know how long should it be prolonged for?
About 2 to 3 seconds.
2 to 3 seconds. No.
3 to 4.
Yes, 3 to 5 seconds, minimum 3 seconds. And you didn't give it that much time. And it is, the ya is also carrying another stroke. What is the name of this stroke? Sorry?
Fatah is fire.
Yeah, Fatah Ishbaya. It also needs 2 seconds to be pronounced. Okay. So altogether, you should prolong this ya for almost minimum 5 seconds. So how would you recite the first verse only?
قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ.
It's better now. And this ya, mushaddad, should be recited with more stress, okay? Because it is carrying a shadda. Ya is carrying a shadda. Ayyuhal kafirun. Like this, okay? And in other verses, you made the same, you can say, mistake of elongation. And here, which kind of noon is it?
Noon sakin.
Noon sakin. And will we conceal it or manifest this noon?
I manifest it.
No.
I mean, conceal it. Half
Yes,
conceal.
because the following letter is letter of
Let
ikhfa.
Ifa.
Yes, it is a concealing letter. So how will we read this word?
Antum abidun.
Yes, antum.
Antum.
Okay, which rule applies on this dal and mim mushaddad?
The concealation, because the meme carries a shadda which gets rid of the.
No. This is not the rule of concealing, or this is the rule of assimilation applies on this portion. Okay, we will assimilate this dal carrying a tanween. Okay, we will join it with the mim mushaddad. How? Abidum.
Abidum.
Yes, we did imperfect assimilation. Okay, with the game nakis. Okay, or partial assimilation, which is called partial assimilation. Okay, is there any surah which you have memorized and you haven't recited in the class?
Miss, I just recited. So the new one. Another one. Surah An-Nasr.
ST, can you make sure that he hasn't recited Surah An-Nasr in the class earlier?
I have just know about the Surah Al-Kafirun and Surah Al-Fil.
Okay, please recite Surah An-Nasr in the class now.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا.
Jazakallah. Okay, let me show you this surah on your screen. Is it visible now?
G.
Okay. Again, kind of similar mistake you did in this surah. Otherwise, your memorization was mashallah excellent. But you had to prolong this Madde Kabir for how many seconds?
46.
Yes, almost minimum for 4 seconds. And you didn't prolong it as much as it should be. Okay, so recite this word again, only this word. Jazakallah. And what about this noon? Which kind of noon is it? It is carrying a shadda.
So is it a noon shadda which is manifested?
No, it is noon mushaddad. Okay, the noon which carries a shadda is called a noon mushaddad, and we do make a strong nasal sound on it. Okay, we sustain our sound on it, like innahu. Jazakallah. It is better now. Okay, and we give the time of 2 seconds to it. Both of these word will take 2 seconds. And why this will take 2 seconds? Because it is
Dhamma Ishpaya.
Exactly. So Jazakallah AG 3115 for Surah An-Nasr.
Jazakallah.
Nasr and Al-Kafirun. Okay. ST, could you please unmute another ID for the recitation?
Yes, there is a temporary ID. It says temp ID 1. I'm going to invite that ID.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. I think
Assalamu alaikum.
wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for asking. I think you joined the classes a bit late. Am I right?
Yes.
And do you still want to recite any surah which you have memorized?
Okay.
Which one?
Can I recite Surah Kawthar, please?
Yes, you can recite Surah Al-Kawthar. And don't forget to recite Tabuz and Tasmiyah before it.
Can I start?
Yes.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانهر إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
Jazakallah. Okay. Can you see Surah Al-Kawthar on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. Mashallah, your hifz is excellent, I should say, but there were a few points which I want to discuss with you. Okay. Do you know about this mother? I told about it to a previous student.
Yes.
What is its name? Which kind of mother is it? Madde?
Madde Muttasil.
Yes, Madde Saghir. Okay, the simple name is Madde Saghir. And how long do we prolong it for?
For 2 seconds?
No,
and
for
5.
3 to 5. Okay, and this is 2-second elongation, Fatha by your vertical Fatha. Okay, this one. And what about this Sod? In which group does it fall? Sod. Sod is a thick letter, okay? So we should pronounce it with a thicker sound. Fasolli. Yes?
Fasolli.
Yes, with a rounder mouth and a thick sound. And I think you didn't recite this word correctly. Can you recite last verse once again for me?
Okay. Inna shani'aka huwal abtar.
Yes, it is correct this time. Inna shani'aka.
Inna shani'aka.
Yes, and this Hamza and Alif, both rule applies, same rule apply on both of these letters. We read these letters softly, okay? Not like Ain, okay? Like here, Alif is a soft letter and Ain is articulated from the middle of the throat in a bit strong voice, okay? So, Jazakallah, temporary ID. Can we have another ID, please? Yes, please.
I will invite AG3053.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, AG3053.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Okay. Is there any surah which you haven't recited in the class before?
Surah Al-Fil.
Okay. Are you sure you haven't recited Surah Al-Fil?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know it by heart?
Yes.
So could you please recite it with, started with Tabuz and Tasmiyah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل
ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول.
Jazakallah, mashallah. Your hifz is on the spot, I should say. I didn't notice any mistake of hifz in your recitation. You followed most of the rules which we have taught in the class. For example, you did ikhfa very well here. You did recite it with in ikhfa. You did ikhfa of noon here, and just a few things just to improve your tajweed or recitation. Which kind of ra is it? If it carries a fatha, how should? Yes, a thick one. And I noticed that. Can you please recite this word again for me? Only this word. Sorry. Yes.
Rabbuka.
It's better. So ra should be articulated in a bit thicker sound. Rabbuka.
Rabbuka.
Jazakallah. And here in the word ababil, why did you prolong this ba? I mean, you applied the rule, but I want to know whether you know the rule or not.
Because there's an alif in front of it.
And which kind of alif is it? Alif of? Alif madda. Okay.
Okay.
This is alif madda, and the rule for this alif is, this blank alif is that any letter carrying a fatha, this fatha sign, okay, fatha stroke, is if it is followed by a blank alif, then we prolong the sound of that letter. Like here we have alif, so we are prolonging it because it not only carries a fatha, but its next letter is a letter of madda or blank alif. Okay, so how will we recite it? Just recite this word for me.
Ababil.
Jazakallah. And which kind of ya is it? Here?
You need to prolong it.
Yes. Why you prolong it? Because this is ya
Sakin.
ya madda. Okay. Ya madda. It is ya sakin, but the previous letter is having a kasra underneath. So the rule of ya madda applies on this ya. So this becomes ya madda, and we prolong this meme. Tarmihim. Yes.
Tarmihim.
Okay. Jazakallah. AG3053. Mashallah, you recited very well, and I hope in our coming classes you will come up with the Suratul Baqarah, inshallah. Okay.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Okay, ST, can we have another student?
Yes, I'm going to invite an ID, but it just says NG303. So it must be one letter missing. So I don't know what is.
Okay, let's ask her what is her correct ID. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, NG303.
Okay.
We will try her later, okay?
Okay, I'll call NG3070.
NG3070. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, NG3070.
AG3064.
AG3064. Assalamu alaikum.
No, I can't find.
What happened to them? Okay.
AG3053.
AG30.
No, sorry.
We just listened to him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, let me see.
Okay, let me try which ID you were saying earlier. AG30. I can't find AG3064 here.
NG3090.
Okay, let me try this ID. NG3090. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. So finally you are here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Let me note your ID. Are you NG3090?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So which surah are you going to recite today off by heart?
I'm Surah Quraysh.
Suratul Qur'an. And you haven't recited it earlier?
No.
Okay. Suratul Qur'an. Okay. Could you please start it with Tabuz and Tasmiyah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي يوسوس
الذي أطعمهم
من جوع وآمنهم من خوف.
Jazakallah. Mashallah. Your recitation is good, mashallah, and yours is as well. But I noticed just a few things. Which do you know in which category does the letter Sod fall? Which kind of letter is it?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, I'm telling you, it is a thick letter. Okay, you pronounced it correctly, but it is carrying two strokes or sign on it. Okay, can you see a shadda, and which stroke is it?
A fatha.
Yes, a shadda and a fatha. You recited it thickly, which is correct, but it needs a bit more stress because it is carrying a shadda as well. So we will recite it like was-sayf.
Okay.
You can read it after me.
Was-sayf.
Correct. And here, I heard that you didn't prolong this dal sound, while the following letter is a. Which kind of wa is it?
Haruf-e-mad.
Yes. And what is the rule for huruf-e-mad?
It should be prolonged for 2 seconds.
Exactly. So could you please repeat this word for me, applying the rules?
فَلْيَعْبُدُوا.
It's good now. Okay. You corrected the mistake. So you need to prolong it for 2 seconds. And here, what should we do with this noon sakin? Should we conceal it or manifest it?
Conceal it.
Correct, you are right. But how did you know?
Because there's a jim at the front.
Yes, and the jim is one of the letter of? Yes, you are right. Yes, one of the letters. Yes, it is a letter of ikhfa, or the letter of concealing. So how will we read this part, applying the rule?
Ju.
Yes, ju and waw again waw of leen is waw of madda is here, so prolong this jeem as well. Read it again.
Ju.
Yes. And I didn't point it out any other mistake. I don't remember any other mistake. So Jazakallah for the recitation, and I hope in coming classes you will come up with another memorized surah, inshallah. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Al-Qur'an. Okay, ST, can we have another ID, please?
Yes, I'm going to call NG3031.
NG3031. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Jazakallah for asking. And are you reciting any new surah in the class today? Off by heart? Okay, let me show you some surahs so that you can tell me whether you have recited it earlier or not. What about Suratul Quraysh?
No.
Okay, and have you memorized Suratul Ma'un?
No.
Okay, the surahs are on your screen, okay, you can see. And what about Suratul Kawsar? Have you recited it earlier in class?
Yes.
And Suratul Kafirun?
Kafirun.
Sorry?
No.
No. Okay, no worries. And let's have a look at the last 5 surahs of Holy Qur'an. Although we are not listening these surahs in class, but if there is any surah which you haven't recited in the class from last 5 surahs of Holy Qur'an, you can tell me. Okay, Suratul Ikhlas?
No.
What do you mean by no? Do you have you memorized it or not?
No, it's not memorized.
You haven't memorized it. And do you know a few verses of Suratul Baqarah? Alif Lam Mim? No.
No.
And I think I'm giving you the last option of Suratul Nas. Have you recited it in the class? Actually, it is a Hifz class, and we expect from students that they memorize the surahs which they have learned in the class. Okay, so try to memorize new surahs, and I hope you will come up with some new memorized surah in next class. Okay. Okay, no worries. Jazakallah. And G3031. Okay, ST, do we have another ID for recitation?
There is only one ID left, AG3024, but I can't unmute him.
Okay, I can try to unmute.
AG3024.
There isn't option of unmuting him. Okay, so no worries. Okay, is there any student who have recited one surah? But as you know, we have a few minutes left in this class for Hifz, for listening to Hifz. So is there? Yes, Walaikum Assalam. Is there any student who want to recite another surah which he has memorized and haven't recited in the class? NG303, we were trying to unmute you. Assalamu alaikum. We are trying to unmute you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Okay, don't mute yourself now, okay? How are you? Alhamdulillah. What is your correct ID? Because ID consists on 4 digits.
Oh, sorry. NG30.
Just tell me your ID.
NG3032
32. Okay. let me note your ID. It is NG3032. Okay, as you said. Okay. Is there any surah which you haven't recited in the class and you have memorized it?
Ji.
Which one?
Al-Nur.
Suratul?
Al-Nur.
Suratul Nur is not part of our Hifz syllabus. Okay. Have you recited some surahs in class earlier? Are you a new student?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know Suratul Nas off by heart?
Nas.
You can see it on your screen.
नहीं मुझे वाली नहीं अभी आती है.
Okay, which surah do you know? From last 10 surahs of Holy Qur'an, like Qul Huwallah, Suratul Ikhlas, or Suratul Kawsar?
I think she has unmuted herself again.
Okay, I think she has nothing to recite in the class. That's why.
नहीं मैंने कुल हुल्ला की थी बस मेरे स्क्रीन पे आ गया था the host has muted you.
Okay, no worries. Sorry. Okay, can you recite Suratul Ikhlas like you said Qul Huwallah in the class? Start with Tawus in front of you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahus samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad.
Jazakallah. Finally, you recited a surah in the class, which is Suratul Ikhlas. Can you see Suratul Ikhlas on your screen now? Yes. Okay. NG3032, can you tell me how should we recite the word Allah here? In a thick voice or in a normal thin voice? No, we will recite it in a thick voice because the previous letter before this Lam, Lamul Jalala, previous active letter is carrying a fatha. So we will recite it in a thick sound with a rounder mouth like Qul huwallahu ahad. And it's better now. Okay, again here in the third verse, word Allah will be recited in a thick sound. Allahu Samad.
Allahu Samad.
Okay. And do you know which rule applies on this dal? If we do a pause here. We recite it with a jerk, okay? Because when we stop here, we do make a pause here, it becomes a dal of qalqala. It becomes a qalqala letter. Okay? We will recite it, read it with a jerk. Ahad.
Ahad.
Okay. Jazakillah, NG3032. And I hope you will memorize rest of the surahs, inshallah. Okay. A few minutes are left. A few seconds are left in closing of all the breakout rooms. So we will wait for the students. And after that, inshallah, I will share your homework with you. Okay. So it's time to close all the breakout room. And once again, I want to announce that you can share all of the surahs which you have memorized, preferably those surahs which you haven't been given chance in class to recite. You can share the recording of those surahs via email, and I have shared my email or email address with you. So share as many surahs, memorized surahs as you can. And mashallah, we have a good number of staff there to listen to your memorized surahs. Okay, so can breakout room coordinator confirm that all the students have joined back the main session?
Assalamu alaikum. Yes.
Okay, Jazakallah. So now we will move on to our homework. We learned verse number 256, which is Ayatul Kursi, yesterday. So everyone is requested to memorize this verse, which is Ayatul Kursi. And we also advise you to revise all the chapters or parts of the Holy Quran we have already learned in the class. And those chapters are chapter number 1, Surah Al-Fatiha, and the chapters from 105 to 114. Okay, the last 10 chapters of Holy Quran. And Surah Al-Baqarah from verse 1 to 17. So do memorize them. And for the rule quest, Ayatul Kursi is here, which is the part of second chapter, and it is the verse number 256. It was revealed in Medina, and the meaning of Al-Kursi is the crown. Ayatul Kursi means the crown verse. Sorry,
but the Kursi name is chair.
Okay, this surah is okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
The meaning of Ayatul Kursi means the crown verse. Okay, Jazakallah Esti. And we expect from the students age 6 to 7, from age 6 years to 7 years, that they should look for extended elongation in Ayatul Kursi. And extended elongation includes two kind of stretches, which are Madde Saghir, medium long stretch, and which is prolonged for 3 to 5 seconds, and Maddul Kabir, which is known as extra long stretch, and it is prolonged for 4 to 6 seconds. And for 8 to 9 years old students, you have to look for Ishbaiya strokes in Ayatul Kursi, which are vertical fatha, vertical kasra, and inverted dhamma. And these the letters which carry Ishbaiya strokes, they should be prolonged for 2 seconds or 2 beats. And for students who are between the age of 10 to 12, they have to look for soft elongation in Ayatul Kursi. And it means when Waw Sakin and Ya Sakin are preceded by Maftu or letter carrying Fatha, Maftu letter, they should be softly prolonged for 2 seconds. So this was your homework, and we expect from everyone that they will memorize the surahs which they haven't done till yet. Okay, so Jazakumullah everyone for your participation, and as usual, we will conclude today's class with the recitation of this prayer. So I would request ST to unmute and ID for this prayer, for the recitation of this prayer.
NG3117.
NG3117, Assalamu alaikum.
I think this ID has gone. NG3049.
NG3049, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, we can try one last ID.
Okay. NG3015.
NG3015. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Could you please recite the prayer after reciting the Holy Quran
Allah.
with Ta'awuz and Tasmiyah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لي إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة.
Translation.
O Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran, and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
Okay, mashallah, very well done. And Jazakumullah to everyone for your participation and for your cooperation. And don't forget to send your memorized surah via email, your recordings via email. So with this, we conclude our class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.